Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the studentloanjustice.org live stream. It is Wednesday, September 15th, and we're glad that you found us. Welcome. What took you so long? I'm going to keep it extremely brief tonight. So, we're fighting for two things. We're fighting for the return of bankruptcy protection to student loans, but as of this pandemic, we are fighting for the cancellation of all federally owned student loans. That's like 85, 87% of all student debt. We're fighting for it. We started fighting for it in August of 2019. We started a petition calling for it in March 2020. I'm thrilled to tell you we're now up over 1 million signatures, and student loan cancellation by executive order is now at the top of the news. Here's the critical thing right now, guys, and I made this point in a public forum that we did last night, which I will try and post post the recording of like soon. But here's the thing, guys. This up to $50,000 loan cancellation we're seeing from Senator Warren, it's a trick. It's tricky. It's a trick. The Department of Education has no desire or intentions of canceling any loans. And as soon as you start throwing weasel words in like up to $50,000 and you start talking about other means testing, other things, you're giving the Department of Education a million ways to not cancel loans. Department of Education has no desire or intentions of canceling any loans, guys. We've had loan cancellation programs on the books since 1993. Income contingent repayment, income driven repayment. More recently, the IBR program, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, the Pay As You Earn program, the Revised Pay As You Earn program, on and on and on. Of the millions of people who have tried for these loan cancellation programs, the number of people who have actually made it through numbers in the hundreds. So we're talking about a 99.9% rejection rate, 99% failure rate. What would make all of a sudden what would cause student loan cancellation? There's one thing that I can think of. And lo and behold, we get right back to bankruptcy. The founding fathers called for bankruptcy in the Constitution, ahead of the power to declare war and raise an army. There's a very good reason for that. And the student loan exception to their wisdom proves their wisdom in spades. We've got to have the threat of bankruptcy back on our side in order to get any kind of meaningful loan cancellation. That's just kind of the way it works, folks. So we continue to fight for bankruptcy. We're fighting as hard as we have ever fought for it. And I'm very glad to tell you that we now have a great bill in the Senate, S-2598. Very good bill. I urge you in the strongest of terms to do everything that you can to push for this bill. S-2598 is in the Senate. Dick Durbin, who's chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, it's his bill along with John Cornyn out of Texas. We've got to fight very hard for this bill. But what's even better is we are going to be having a companion bill for this in the House very soon. So I can't say more than that. I can only say the sausage is being the sausage is being made right now as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. So for those of you who have been with our group for any length of time, you should be thrilled, right? I mean, we've never, ever been in a better position than we are right now. So if all you want to do is file for bankruptcy, we're in very good shape. But if you want loan cancellation, as I do, we've got to fight for bankruptcy, guys. We've got to. And anyone out there saying otherwise either doesn't know what they're talking about, or they may actually be working on the other side of us. We saw this happen in 2007. A lot of people, including people calling themselves student advocates, went to great lengths to kill the push for bankruptcy protections. And they offered as a cheap substitute public service loan forgiveness, income-based repayment. Well, how did that work out? Didn't work out very well. I know we've got a lot of teachers and other people on this group who've worked for nonprofits for 10 or more than 10 years, and they got completely screwed. 98.6% of people working in public service found out the very hard way that no, they got jilted out of the loan forgiveness. And I don't even like to call it forgiveness, but for the fact that forgiveness is in the title of that program, Public Service Loan Forgiveness. We're not begging for forgiveness here, folks. We're demanding cancellation. And the numbers are on our side. Even before this pandemic, 50% of everybody was not even paying on their loans. They were not. Now, during this pandemic, almost no one is paying. And I'm sorry, but if you believe that many or maybe even anyone is going to resume paying on their student loans, certainly on their federal student loans, when and if they lift the repayment suspension, you're just wrong. It ain't going to happen. This lending system is dead. It's toast. It's failed. There's no saving it, and there should be no saving it. This lending system is a national threat at this point. So, we got this, guys, but we've got to flex our muscle. You know, we're the largest collection of student loan borrowers in the country, to the best of my knowledge, with over 1 million people on our petition, 50, 60, 70,000 people across all our other platforms. So what we do matters, folks. This stuff does not happen in a vacuum. What we do, what you do, really counts. So, like, right now, we are trying very hard to get a very simple meeting with either the staff, preferably the chief of staff, of the governors of the states, over a third of U.S. states, 19 states, where student loan debt exceeds the entire state budget. That actually is a thing, believe it or not. 19 states, the people of those states, owe more in student loan debt than the entire state budget. The worst is Georgia. 169% of its state budget is what the people of Georgia owe in student loan debt. Texas is terrible. Florida, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, I said Alabama, I think, Missouri, Indiana, Colorado, New Hampshire, South Dakota, I think there's a couple other ones in there too that I missed. Florida, if I didn't say it. Florida is terrible. So if I had to pick any 3 governors that would be the best governors that we need to get into a formal or informal is probably better, an informal conversation with their staff or with the governor themselves, I would probably say Ron DeSantis of Florida, Greg Abbott in Texas. Probably number 1 would be Brian Kemp of Georgia. But, you know, there's other people as well. Henry McMaster of South Carolina would be really good. Bill Lee of Tennessee would be great. Christine Neem, Noem, of South Dakota would be perfect. Chris Sununu in New Hampshire would be very good. Who else? Well, there's quite a few other. The governor of Missouri would be very good as well. His name escapes me at the moment. But anyways, we need to get into a conversation with these governors. This is now really a state sort of sovereignty issue at this point. These states are being wrecked, and the federal government has demonstrated that they are going to do everything they can do to not solve this problem. So we've got to go to the governors, guys. We've got to take this to the states, and they should be on our side. All those guys that I mentioned, they're Republicans. They should be on our side. They should be on the side of their citizenry. And remember, something like nationally, 55% of everybody with some college is either Republican or independent. So in all those states that I mentioned, it's probably skews even higher than that. So we're talking about half of the student loan borrowers or more in their states lean to the right. So this is their base. We've got a very strong conservative argument to make here, folks. Very strong. In fact, I would say that our conservative argument for this, for student loan cancellation, It's probably stronger than whatever the liberal argument is, and I'm not even sure what that is. So there's no good reason for this to be a partisan issue. There's no good reason. And that really hurts us, by the way. It does us no good to get stuck between the partisan divide. It really doesn't. So if you live in any of the states that I just mentioned, you need to make it your mission to get us into a informal, preferred, but even a formal, whatever, some kind of a conversation with the governor's office. Make that happen, please. We need you on this. We've met with a couple of staff from a couple of governors, but we need more. We need the people there in the states, there on the ground, their constituents, you. We need you to step up and help us. So make it happen. And, you know, don't ask me how. There's a million ways how. Pick up the phone. Call the governor's office. It's not rocket science. Just call them. And don't stop until you get us into a brief phone conversation with the governor's staff. I can do all the talking if I have to. That's fine. I prefer I didn't have to, but I'm totally fine doing that. But you have to set that domino in motion. And this is just so important, guys. I can't tell you. You know, we can get these loans canceled very quickly if even one or maybe two governors, Republican governors, stand up and say, Mr. President, enough. I'm not going to let my state be conquered and enslaved by these loans. I'm just not going to do it. We can do that quickly when we get a couple of Republican governors on our side. You know, we can circumvent all this stuff. We could probably maybe even circumvent the bankruptcy thing instead of having to go through all that rigmarole. I don't know, I'm not sure, but I'm telling you guys, getting a Republican governor or two on our side will completely change the game for us. So think about that. Other things we're working on right now, I can't tell you a lot of stuff, but suffice it to say, big things are happening right now. Like what everybody does right now really matters. Stuff does not happen in a vacuum. I'm going to say it for the second time tonight. Oh, by the way, if you have any questions or comments, throw them out. If I can see them, I will definitely respond to them. Hey, John Connors, how you doing? But as I said, I think I'm going to keep it short tonight. I've said most of what I have to say. Maybe the couple last items. Look up or down on this group. We have action items, daily action items, and we've been doing this for the past month or more. Look up and down on this group. Do a whole bunch of those actions. Most of them are simple. Like, most of them take, like, not even 30 seconds to do. It's like Twitter stuff. It's, like, not hard. Like, today's was maybe slightly more complicated. It was involving emailing news organizations, and we gave everybody our email addresses, just sending a simple email imploring state news organizations to report on our petition. You know, we've got 1 million signatures on that petition, but we should have far more than 1 million. We should have 10 or 20 or maybe even 30 million signatures. And all that stuff starts with you. You know, you can't sit back and wait and watch and worry and hope that somebody like me is going to do all your work for you. It ain't going to happen. I'm only one guy. I can only do so much. And on any given day, we have maybe a couple hundred people that are doing stuff. We need thousands of people to be doing stuff every day. That's how this problem gets solved. So look up and down on this group and do those actions going back for, let's say, 2 weeks. I swear it doesn't take long, and frankly, it's kind of fun. And so, yeah, please do that. The last thing I'll say, well, if you could donate right now, it would be super helpful. We need to raise about $50 in the next 2 days for some pending bills. So we can do this on very little funding, but we can't do it on nothing. If you can pitch in, please do that. Go to studentloanjustice.org/donate. .html, but just go to the website, studentloanjustice.org, and you can see that. So with that, I think I will just wish you all a very good night. As I said, it's Wednesday. Let's make this a strong week, guys. We need to really make this thing happen. So these are your loans. This is your problem. And as unlikely as it may sound, the country actually needs you to help us fight. I kid you not. There's a lot riding on this. We are the pioneers, and you can't unhear that. We're the tip of the spear. We are the spear. We're the eye of the storm. We are the storm. So keep that in mind. Have a great night. I'll be back on Friday. Ed will be back tomorrow. Good luck. Keep us posted as to your accomplishments. We'd love to brag on them. Good luck. Godspeed. And God bless everybody. Oh, and by the way, check out we got featured in an article today at Fast Company, and I will paste the link to it in the comments here.